I'm playing Call of Duty Mobile because I'm interested in just how good people are at just touch controls. So I'm trying to learn the touch controls myself. I grew up playing controller games and mouse and keyboard games, and touch wasn't really a thing. There were no phones. This is like a new development for me. And I kind of ignored touch in mobile gaming for quite a while because the graphics were so bad. And they started off really simplistic, but having watched the Call of Duty mobile community, you can see that these controls have gotten pretty sophisticated, and the players are just about as good as they are on mouse and keyboard, maybe not quite that good. I'm definitely much better with a controller still, but I'm trying to give this a shot because this might be like kind of an important step for CineTracer and just other things, because if you can basically competently play a game like this without a controller and it's just on an iPad or a tablet or a phone, then that requires less hardware. And there's always something a little bit more intuitive about touch, and that it's your hands. But people are pretty good with their hands, and not everyone has really played with a controller. So this is kind of my experiment in it. I've been playing like about a couple weeks of Call of Duty Mobile. I really like it. It's kind of like a more fun Counter-Strike for me. A little bit looser. I can play it on my iPad, so I can play it like when I'm like around my kids. It doesn't require me to boot up my computer. And like I said, I've been playing it with my mouse and keyboard. I've been playing it with my controller, which is really fun. Like, I really like that got enabled. But the funny thing is that the pro scene for Call of Duty Mobile, as young as the game is pretty much all people playing touch. So like they're much better. People are basically better with touch than they are with controllers. And that comes to the fact that you're using your fingers like to control it, and people can get really good with their fingers at things. Like you can basically be good at like playing the piano or playing the drums. I used to be a drummer, so it takes a little while to teach yourself the dexterity of it. But when you do, I think the end result is you're basically better with touch than you are with a controller with joysticks. Joysticks just don't allow you to do as fast a movement or as controlled. Like you can do very slow pans, which is aiming in this case, or really fast ones, or like just roll ones. And then you can also customize the layout, which was overwhelming at first for me, was that you could like move where all the buttons are. But the virtual joysticks and all the buttons, and the fact that some people play 6-finger like this, they use all 6 fingers at once, I just use 4, kind of leaves the potential to be pretty high. So I kind of wonder if touch is really the future of like human input compared to controller or compared to even mouse and keyboard, because I use my iPad because it's so much faster to turn on. I just open it, it's on, the apps are fast, and the graphics are getting better and better. You look at Fortnite and Call of Duty Mobile, and the graphic quality is incredible. And this whole little mini production that I'm doing here is all mobile as well. It's being recorded on my iPhone, I think 11 Pro Max or whatever they call it. Pro, it's the Pro, I don't remember. And then the iPad. This is doing all the gaming and all of the recording for me. This is recording the game, that's recording the video. The audio, I'm sure, is not great. And I'm doing like a pretty sophisticated first-person shooter in this, which could easily be Fortnite Creative or CineTracer, where we're building things, and it's phone and iPad, and it's really light, no big keyboard and computer setup. It's much simpler here, and as the graphic quality gets better and the controls get better, this may be like an extremely viable option for virtual production and previs, because it's so much smaller and more convenient to bring around than even like a laptop. I can play this in my bedroom, anywhere really. So just doing some experimenting and watching like really high performance people, basically gamers, use this kind of setup, and trying to understand it for myself too. So that wraps this up. Super random video. I don't know if this is going to go anywhere, but that's what I'm investigating for this break.